people can now see and hear us.
So what's everybody drinking tonight? You guys get some goods?
Yeah,
I
I was
got
wondering what
some-
you're drinking.
It's like a fruity IPA thing, and I don't mean to reveal myself as trash bag that I am, but it was pretty sweet. I went to my local beer store, and the guy there, I grabbed this. It was a pack of Tall Boys, of a craft thing, and I took it up there, and he's like, "Oh, John, this is out of date." I'm like, "How out of date?" He's like, "Out of date enough that I'll let you have it for free." I'm like, "All right, sold." I'll take this too. So it gets seen buying something here. But yeah, so I'm drinking 4 free beers tonight.
Nice.
And they were only canned nearly 2 years ago. Like,
That's not bad.
I mean,
it's
it's
a little
alcohol. Like,
Right.
it ferments. Like, what's it gonna do? Get more alcohol?
Well, apparently a thing with like IPAs, like oxidizing in the can, is it kind of degrades the IPA flavor. I'm like, that's not a problem for me.
Did you
I
roll
approve of
it?
that. Like, it just sounds delicious then. So it's just going to be fruity fucking strong beer. Sold. So, yep, it's good.
I'm
I just want to back on my free beers for a minute.
I'm starting with the Dogfish Head. I forget the name, but it's like a 10% crazy double IPA bullshit.
Yeah, deeper that tune.
But I only had one of those cold ready to go. So for my next beers are probably gonna be light beers, or I'll sneak down just like have whiskey.
Oh, Johnny, you should drink nothing but hot deepas. Just leave them out all night. Just get nasty with.
If anything, I should be warming them on the stove right now.
Yeah, exactly. Hot buttered deepa.
Oh God.
What about you, Dave? What are you having?
I was in a mood to just get like a little happy, not trashed, and I wanted something sweet. So I am currently drinking Not Your Father's root beer. It's a hard root beer that's like 6%.
Oh, I remember those.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Jason?
classic.
Cool, man. High school all over again.
Jesse?
Pineapple juice and classic Malibu.
Whoa! Good combo.
All right.
Yeah, it's real good.
We'll see who's ready to start the show.
I realize now I'm not. I need to get a fresh beer. I'll be back in 60 seconds.
All right, let's time them.
You literally got like, oh, let me tell you about how I got 4 free beers, and I don't have any of them near me.
Oh God, that's so good. Those dippas. Is that
Also,
Jesse? Is that
before
Han
the-
Solo on your glass?
It is.
Sorry, Dave. You're gonna
That's
say
awesome.
something.
No, I was just going to say I also did a shot of whiskey before I came on camera, so.
Yeah.
I forget, cheap whiskey is good for mixing, not good for shooting.
Yeah. All right.
In solidarity with you, Johnny, I went and grabbed. I had to buy something to get this free 4-pack, so I got my Deepa. So
Yeah.
it's you and me, Deepa Bros tonight.
Oh, deep.
Yeah,
It's like Eskimo Bros, but you just drink the same beer.
that's what I'm saying. Oh, I'm bros with so many people. So yeah. Let's do it. You know what? I'm gonna start calling you Johnny Deepa.
New
It's not
Twitter handle.
I'm
It's
going.
not a joke.
I'm going as deep as I can.
Johnny Deepa.
All right.
You just keep putting it in further.
You say deep, and it just keeps going.
Deepa? I hardly
you
know her.
How's that song go? This is the dick that never ends.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, that's a new one on me, Johnny. Sing the whole thing.
Or start
I'm very worried that a song called "The Dick That Never Ends" is performed by a lamb puppet.
I think it's by Sting.
I think it's about Liam Neeson
Mm.
and his legendary large penis.
All right, guys. So, John, you ready?
Oh yeah, super ready.
David, you ready?
Yes.
Jesse, you ready?
As ready as Liam Neeson's cock.
Beautiful. 5,
Waiting for the
4,
blood to get to it.
3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Gain That Tune.
yeah, what is going on, everybody? It's Game That Tune back in the house once again. It's your boy, John Harrington here. We've got John Regan with us. Say hey.
Hey.
We got Jesse Moore. Say hey.
Hey.
And we got the GTT King, King David Fleming. Say hey.
Hey.
Hell yeah, guys. Welcome back. Game That Tune is in the house for a 325th episode. That's right. Game That Tune 325, guys. Coming at you. And man, oh man, what an episode it's going to be. If you're just joining us here on Game That Tune, you're in for a treat because we have video game tunes. We've each brought 3 songs from a game. We're going to try and guess each other's games based on the songs, a little bit of trivia. We're going to goof off. We're going to have a lot of fun. And the winner at the end of the night picks the theme for the next episode and plays some bonus tunes. And our winner last week was me, unexpectedly, in a strange and low-scoring episode. I came out on top, as I frequently do in such situations. And, man, I had a stroke of theme genius. We had just enjoyed the Nintendo Direct last week. They announced so many sweet new games and so many sweet old games made new again that I felt inspired to make this episode all about remakes. I'm talking remakes of old games or games with music from old games remade in a new style. So, you know, games that aren't necessarily part of the same series but contain music from a previous game are totally valid. But I'm pretty sure, based on me saying remakes, we're all just picking remakes of old games because there are numerous games to pick from. It's Jesse, you know, I see you taking a tally. About how many remakes can you name offhand?
Say about 4.
And I don't mean name them. I just mean, like, give me an estimate of how many remakes you could probably name if you tried.
Oh, 7.
Okay, 7. Yeah, hey, I can think of a good 7 remakes. 1 remake of a good 7.
No.
Then after that,
Or at least part of it, anyways.
right. After that, kind of a struggle. But yeah, so the good thing is we feature 5 games on each show. There's about 7 remakes in history. And you know, that means there's some wiggle room left. Maybe we didn't overlap on our games. It'll be good. I constantly worry about that. You know, will 2 of us pick the same game when a theme is this broad? Somehow it's a weird paranoid fear of the video game music podcast. You're like, please God, don't let me pick the same fucking thing as Johnny this week. Like, I don't know how it would happen. Happened before.
Nah, man, my brain's broken. You didn't pick the same thing as me.
I mean, you think that, but you know, who knows, man? Fucking, yeah, we'll see, man.
I have a bad feeling about today. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah. I have a good feeling about today because you know what? I think that one of the big things that drives a show like this is nostalgia, and one of the big things that drives a remake of an old video game is nostalgia. And I think that this is going to be a fun episode because we're going to listen to some classic tunes updated for new systems. And I think we're just going to have a good show. So we got 5 fantastic games. We got a great fan request. And guys, I think we just got to jump right into it. So Johnny, let's do game 1.
Game 1.
right, so this is when this came out. This was considered to be one of the most accurate home versions of this game. The developer even went so far as to include a document detailing every single difference between this and the arcade originals. They used the original sprites from the arcade game, but the console's target resolution was a smaller resolution. The arcade was 384 by 240. This was 320 by 200, which resulted in a smaller play field, but they specifically said that they felt they wanted to preserve the detail of all the original sprites and backgrounds. It did not.
Long ass trivia, Johnny. Long ass trivia.
All right, who's got some answers? I almost said guesses, but all right. So let's see here. Jesse says Street Fighter the movie, the game, which is actually I don't know. David says Street Fighter 2, which is pretty close, and John is a little closer with Super Street Fighter 2 PC. This is Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the PC.
Oh,
I'm gonna give it to John and David. They're pretty close, but Jesse, I feel like adding the movie in there was a little flying too close to the sun.
That's what I do.
Street Fighter the movie, the game was an original game. It wasn't a remake. Wholly
But
original
didn't
game with original characters. Do not steal.
Didn't it feature remade music though?
It may have, but we're talking about Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the PC, developed by Eurocom and published by GameTech.
All right, real quick, Johnny. I do want to make a sad confession. David, I'm sorry to say, I've never listened to the soundtrack to Street Fighter the movie, the game. I don't know if it has remade Street Fighter tunes or not, or if they just went with something new. I'm so disappointed in myself. All these years of being a fan of that shitty movie and that, good fighting game series, and I never bothered listening. So, no, I don't know the answer to that question. I'm filled with great shame. Anyway.
So yeah, they part of this game they made a they remade the soundtrack with MIDI, and then they also put out they put out a version on floppy disk with a MIDI soundtrack, and then they put out a version on CD with a CD audio soundtrack, and I love this soundtrack. Oh my god,
it's good. It's
really
good.
That Guile's theme with that scratchy guitar that kicks in, I was like, oh shit, this is beautiful.
And I mean, leading off with Balrog's theme was beautiful, man. That's I feel like that's one of the most underrated Street Fighter 2 songs there is.
That song slaps so hard, and
Super slap,
and it never pops up in people's list of best songs, and it should be at the. Honestly, I kind of like it better than Guile's theme at this point. Like, it's so good.
It's really fucking good, man. High quality shit.
So, did you guys ever play Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on your DOS machines back in 1995?
Of course, who didn't? That's where we all owned it, right?
So, I confess my ignorance towards PC gaming towards PC gaming. Was there a kind of plug-in controller or fight stick, or did you play this on a keyboard?
Oh, they had Game Pass for PCs. Yeah.
Okay.
Although one fun fact about this game is you can only use one controller. Like, it had a 2-player mode, but only one player could use a controller, the other player had to use the keyboard.
Couldn't you set it up like LAN and do two-player that way?
No.
So that was the equivalent of like,
Wow.
over at your friend's house, here's a Mad Catz controller.
Here's a keyboard. So yeah, it only because and they detail why in that document that specifies how it's different from the arcade version, but basically it was a hardware limitation at the time that you could only have one gamepad hooked up to the PC. So yeah, one person got to use the gamepad, the other person had to use the keyboard.
Yeah, I could imagine that's like differences between the arcade version. A keyboard.
Mhm.
But
Big
otherwise,
difference.
otherwise,
More
If you'll allow me to, well, actually, just a little bit.
Please do.
Well, actually, a lot of like pro fighting game players in the FGC use these things called hitboxes now, and it's basically like it's buttons like you would see on an arcade stick, but instead of like a joystick, there's just more buttons. So it's basically you're playing on a keyboard, and so like all of your a lot of fighting game players swear by it. I've never used one before, but they sound fascinating. It'd be very keyboard-like.
Interesting.
So yeah, this is a solid port of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. The graphics are big and beautiful. You know, the play area is smaller because they didn't scale anything down. Yeah, but there's a few like background animations that are missing. Like in I think it's T-Hawk stage has some like birds in the background, like they're just not there, or not animated or whatever.
Is the guy in? Is the guy on the dock still jerking it?
Good question.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. I did.
I'm looking up right now, Johnny. I need that background. Yeah, is the guy in the Chun-Li stage still choking the chicken?
I don't know, but God. So one thing is, some of the sound effects are definitely not quite as good as the arcade original.
No.
Like in Chun-Li stage, I noticed like the guy. There's a guy that passes by on a bicycle and rings the bicycle bell. And that bell sound is so fucking loud and grating, like it's terrible. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like oh, that's awful.
Maybe just leave that out.
But the other, like the announcer sounds, the hit sounds, all those sounds they're great. But things like, that bicycle bell, or there was in Fei Long stage, I think there's like a peacock that makes a call in the background or something. That was hugely grating. How
do the elephants in Dalsum stage sound?
Oh, I don't know. I skipped through that one, so I'm not sure. But yeah, they went all out everywhere else. Like all the characters there, including Akuma. You can enter the code, to play as Akuma. You've got the super meter. You've got the codes to play as the super variants of all the fighters. Like it's got some depth, and they had to make a few cuts to make it play well on the PCs at the time. Which back we're talking like this is Windows 95 days. Like Windows 95 just came out when this game was out, right? Like that was a long time ago.
Johnny, you said something that struck me, man. You skipped over Dulcim's stage, so you don't know about the elephants. I was really thinking about it. Is there a less essential character in the history of fighting games, particularly in the 16-bit Street Fighter history? Is there a less essential character than Dulcim?
Hold on.
What is Dulcim? What is his role in like the Street Fighter verse? Like, what's this guy doing there?
He was the original like keep away zoner character.
I don't care about that. That's fighting game community shit. I'm talking about the world of Street Fighter.
He represents India with over 1 billion people.
So, why do they need to be involved? What's their story?
Okay, I guess if we're doing like World Warriors, we're just not going to include a country with 1 billion people.
Well, I'm saying integrate him in the story better. Like what's the deal, man? Why does it feel like Dulcim is just there in the little corner and there's no love for Dulcim? Like,
I really feel like all this Dulcim hate is kind of a stretch.
You son of a
well,
bitch.
I kind of take it all back now.
There goes Jesse spitting fire.
It was all, it was all there, and I just I didn't see it because it had teleported behind my back and spit fire on me.
I would say, and this might be a hot take, I don't know, y'all tell me. In the Street Fighter 2 cast, I would get rid of Blanca before I got rid of Dalsum.
What are you, fucking Gaio in the movie? What's wrong with you?
Hot take.
Can we
I hope you.
game over David even though he hasn't played a game yet?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Well, I mean, you're talking about like characters that are important in a world fighting tournament. Like, here's this weird feral guy from the jungle. Like, who does he represent?
Brazil,
Yeah.
savage nation.
They're famous for their green experimental people.
Yeah, famous for kids falling out of airplanes and getting turned into monsters in Brazil. Duh.
Oops,
No, I
not
mean-
again.
In the original Street Fighter 2, you could easily get rid of either Ken or Ryu because they're just clones of each other. Starting
Well,
with
that's-
Super, where you had they started having some difference in the special moves. Okay, now now you got a little more justification. But yeah,
If
I'm
you were
right.
going to get rid of any of them, it would be Ken, because like you kind of need the main character.
Right. Yeah, Ken is redundant in that he's a copy of the Japanese character and he's American, and there's already an American character in the game. Jean-Claude Van Damme, of course.
Although, wait, actually, Johnny might have a point, because there is already a Japanese character, Edmund Honda.
Well, two different distinct flavors of Japanese there, David. There's your stoic, Street Fighter, wandering, martial artist, and then there's your sumo wrestler. They represent two very distinct fighting styles of Japan.
Well,
Need a both.
Ken and Guile are two distinct versions of Americans. You've got buff blonde-haired guy, and then buff blonde-haired guy who's also rich for some reason.
Well,
I thought you were going to say you got people that culturally appropriate and people that are in the military.
It's the
So-
same
You know, when you
thing.
put it like that kind of is America in a nutshell, isn't it?
Were you going to say something, Jesse?
I never liked Saget, but that's just me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Come on, he's 8 feet tall. Yeah, he's a god amongst the rest of Thailand. Yes, he's so tall. Yeah, no, he. I don't know. I like Sagat because he's like the Muay Thai kickboxer. He has those short shorts.
I do like men in short shorts.
Yes, and who wears short shorts? Sagat wears short shorts. Yeah, I think it's down to it's either Ken or Dalsum is the least essential characters in the entire game.
Do you think he'll be in Street Fighter 6?
Which one?
Saget.
I don't know.
I guess we'll have
I
to
would
keep an eye
imagine.
out for him.
There was a pun right there, and I guess I didn't see it.
Nah, get out of here. That's the same point.
Seriously, guys, your bad jokes, they're scarring me.
No, I'm not. Nope. Sorry,
That's not.
Jesse got it, guys. That's it. Jesse got it.
I don't even think he
So-
dislikes Sagat. I think he just really wanted to get to that joke.
So, I
about
unironically
technical
love
stuff.
this style soundtrack. Like, I love this era of PCs, and they're stoked about multimedia, and they've got CDs in them now, and they're gonna use that. Right, they're not gonna just have the sound card put out imitation of the soundtrack. They're gonna get some folks together. They're gonna get Neil Baldwin and Steve Duckworth together, and they're gonna record a whole new cover soundtrack.
Damn, they got Duckworth.
Yeah, they got Duckworth, dude.
All right.
and,
Dope.
and it's gonna be so good. Like, it's just,
I mean,
oh,
I kind of love that about the '90s like CD audio stuff too. Like fucking, Sonic CD is a game that I've never even played, but I'm kind of like all about its soundtrack, and it's because Sega was like, there's no reason to just make slightly better versions of like this music we already made. Let's just make crazy New Jack Swing music. I mean, we got a CD player in the thing now. Let's just fucking make sick ass music for it. It's like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's let's hit the ground running and make fucking really great soundtracks or like really high quality versions of previous soundtracks. It was a really great time for video game music. So it feels like a pretty distinct sound, like you said, like MIDI then rearranged. Like I don't know, somehow in there they just found the fucking they found the right sound.
Like you can tell, it's all synthesizers. I'm pretty sure. I doubt any of them are playing like a real guitar here. But man, I love it. I love it. It sounds so good. That guitar scratch on Kyle's theme. Balrog just coming in fucking hot. Like, oh.
I'm a little disappointed now that you say it's, since it's Super Street Fighter, you didn't include a song from Super Street Fighter. Like, I'd love to hear fucking like DJ's theme in this style. You're gonna hit me with it right now? Is that a knowing look?
I am 100% getting it loaded up.
Hit me, baby. I want to hear it, man. I'm putting on my maximum pants, and let's. What do you got?
Oh crap! I may have deleted off my hard drive after uploading it.
What a tease! All right. So speaking of remakes, guys, it's been a long time. I think it's time that we remade the Street Fighter movie from 1994. While Johnny's getting this loaded up, do you guys want to Dreamcast a remake of Street Fighter the movie from 1994?
I would, as Guile, an actual Sega Dreamcast.
What?
I don't know. I'm just going off the Dreamcast bit.
You can't name an actor. You can't name one fucking white American actor. You went with some non sequitur joke, John.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Jean-Claude Van Damme was not a white American actor.
Yes, I know, David. It's time to improve upon Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's time to right the wrongs of the past.
I'd like to see. I'd like for them to go in a crazy weird direction with it, and maybe cast, say, Seth Rogen as Guile. And just make a whole like stoner comedy out of it, right? Like
Dude, Seth Rogen as Blanca is the play.
Ooh,
I was gonna say Seth Rogen as Blanca.
Christian Bale.
Oh my god, when he does the electric move, it's just him laughing.
This makes sense. Come on, man, touch me.
Sorry, Jesse. Christian Bale.
Christian Bale is Ryu.
No Guile.
Okay, so I'm gonna throw a name
probably
out
take it
there.
pretty seriously.
Pedro Pascal as M. Bison.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Shit, that's good.
Okay.
That's the movie.
He probably has the gravitas for it. I was going to say, like, I was trying to think. There's not really a whole lot of actors, obviously, that could live up to Raul Julia playing M. Bison, but like, I was thinking maybe Oscar Isaac if he went into like a menacing mode.
That'd be pretty good.
But yeah, Pedro Pascal's really good too. That'd be fucking great. Because I feel like he could do it with the kind of the same humorousness that Raul Julia did. Like Raul Julia got that fucking role. He just understood it, went fucking full blown like Shakespearean crazy man. I feel like Pascal could do all that, with a good smirk and a good menace.
All right, so guys, T-Hawk, Fei Long, DJ, Cammy, who do you want to hear first?
DJ.
That's what we were waiting for.
Yeah. Oh, the sound effects in the background. Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay. It's like some Miami Club electric piano. We ain't got all that.
All right.
The fuck, man. It's not bonus tune time, John. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's surprising. We never do the bonus tunes in the first game. So congratulations, Johnny. You won the show.
You're welcome.
Good night. Yeah.
Game 2.
All right, guys. So this game, it was released in 1995 for the Super Famicom. It was not officially released in America until 2007 for the Nintendo DS. And tonight we're listening to the 2022 remake available on Nintendo Switch. All right. Well, we're obviously ready for action. We're all here. There's no cause for stretching. No delaying for time.
Oh, big stretch. Oh.
All right.
Sorry.
There he is. Let's
Dropped his pen.
let's see those answers, guys. Let's see. Johnny says a penis standing on the ground with a little something coming out. Sadly incorrect. David says Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. A good guess based on the Japanese
Fuck
early
no, that was
release.
Famicom, not Super.
Yeah, it's okay. It's wrong. And Jesse says Tactics Ogre Reborn. Also incorrect. No, guys, this is a little game that, like I said, was released on Super Famicom, on DS, and recently on Switch. It was also at one point, I believe, released on the Wonder Swan Color. This is a game called Front Mission.
Okay.
And Jesse falls angry. What's up, man?
Oh,
It's that one. It was the other strategy RPG that Square made.
Fuck, you're right. You did choose a strategy RPG, didn't you? Shoot. Jesse
has
still gets no points.
Vonzers in it though.
Yeah, this this has distinctly more Wanzers than Tactics Ogre, or so I'm told. I don't really know a whole lot about Front Mission, because this is our fan request for the evening. We got this request from a fantastic Game That Tune fan and frequent radio listener, Rainus, one of our moderators over there at the radio, hit me with this fantastic request. Because I figured it would come kind of, from nowhere, from software, but mostly just kind of out of nowhere. Because I got a confession, guys. I don't know what this is. It had a really nice soundtrack though, a Yoko Shimomura soundtrack, remade on the Nintendo Switch, I assume with very little of her involvement. But seemed like a good one. So Jesse, have you played Front Mission?
I've only like scratched the surface of these games. I don't think I want to get this one, but there is a remake of I think maybe 3 coming out, or there was a new one they announced or something, and I would like to give one of those a try.
It seems like besides the fact that it's a strategy RPG, it's got all the trappings of a kind of fun, intriguing series. I wonder if it's possible to take these elements and put them in a game that I'd like to play.
I don't
Because
know.
it seems
I ask myself that about Fire Emblem every goddamn day.
Well, actually, I mean, it's a weird Japanese anime type mecha game, so Metal Gear exists. There you go.
it's true. And I guess I guess the distinction is in Metal Gear you're trying to fight the large mechs as opposed to pilot them. So, but yeah, maybe I got enough of this. Maybe I don't need front mission in my life. But yeah, so it's a strategy RPG in which you pilot giant mechs.
Yes.
Yeah, dope.
That sounds sweet.
Yeah, they're called Wanzers. It's a fun made up word, but fun to say.
Yeah.
David, say Wanzers.
Wanzers. That is fun to say.
It is, right?
Wasn't that the name of our middle school math teacher?
Mrs.
No,
Wanzer?
there was a D in there.
Oh.
Yeah, Wanzer. I hardly know her. But yeah, no. Guys, I truly have nothing for this. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I'm not serving any front mission fans out here particularly well. But I don't know. I was mostly just struck by the soundtrack. It was nice, and I like Yoko Shimomura tunes. Slightly updated. Jesse, you ever played Wonder Swan Color? Do you want to tell us what a Wonder Swan Color is?
God, the one thing about the Wonder Swan Color that annoys the piss out of me is in order to change the game, you have to take the batteries out.
Oh God!
Oh God!
Okay, now hold on.
Stupid.
We've spent 300 plus episodes clowning on like the Game Gear for its bad battery life and shit. But I'm sorry, you gotta remove the battery to change the game in a Wonder Swan?
Yep.
That's madness.
What's worse is they didn't even learn from that mistake, because I'm pretty sure you had to do the same thing with the N-Gauge.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a different company, I think. And that's still ridiculous. I mean, what the fuck? Like, are they treating games like SIM cards? Why would you put it behind the batteries?
But there is a cool thing about the Wonder Swan in that you can hold it long ways with there's a D-pad and 2 buttons, or you can hold it like vertical. And
Okay, you can
just
play it in landscape or portrait mode.
Yeah, there's another D-pad on
Dope.
the top, or
Huh.
when you turn it to the side, so you have. It looks like 2 D-pads, but
Well, I think some games actually require you to rotate it. Like some games will have sections you play vertically and some sections you play horizontally.
I bet you
Yeah.
Front Mission fucking rocked that shit. I bet you they did. They knew. We're gonna rock this Wonder Swan good. Wow. So the Wonder Swan was in essence is the original Wii U. Crazy screen controller styles that no one asked for. Used to some effect. Yeah, that's got to be the only time we've ever talked about this system on the show. Like, I feel like I'm
But
saying
it won't be the last.
more than ever before.
Because
I
I
mean,
don't- it
won't
wasn't
it be the
released in
last? Was it
America, so-
ever an American system, David? Like, is there a single game
mean-
released for the Wonder Swan Color in America?
If we have multiple Virtual Boy games on the show, we'll find a way to get the Wonder Swan.
Mm-hmm. It'll be back. It's not the Swan song for the Wonder Swan.
Next week's theme, Wonder Swan.
God help me. But yeah, Front Mission, Wanzer, excellent music. Feel like next time I'll maybe I don't know if there was a demo of this, I would think about playing it, like because it's kind of I always convince myself that I can maybe make it through a strategy RPG, and then
What the hell? They made Final Fantasy IV for the Wonder Swan?
did they?
They made a
Apparently.
few for the Final Fantasies for it.
But yeah, I was gonna say I always convince myself that maybe I'll get into a strategy game and then I try it out and it doesn't go anywhere. That's my experience playing Triangle Strategies demo. I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to buy that. So if there's a demo of the Front Mission remake available for Switch, I'll play the demo and then decide not to buy the game. That's pretty much my mileage with these things. But maybe the Wanzers will pull me in. Maybe Walking Tanks is what's been missing from my real-time strategy life. But anyway, good request, good tunes. Thank you, Ray. Fantastic. Love getting that request. And guys, let's just keep going.
Game 3.
All right, so this remake features multiple differences from the original game, including a new area to explore, a new side quest, various glitches and bugs being fixed, an addition of clouds to the title screen, a change to the secret ending, and additional music composed by Yuichi Ozaki. All right, Johnny, get ready on that hat trick button.
Yeah, man. If you don't get this one right, I got 2 words for you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, shit. So John and Johnny both say Link's Awakening DX. Jesse says, oh, hey, it's the game I picked. So I'm guessing he knows what this is. That's a hat trick.
I'm about to give the trivia, and then you give the trivia, and I'm like, has something bad happened?
I'm sorry, Jesse. So yeah, this is The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening DX.
After all that talking I did at the beginning of the show about worrying about picking the same game as somebody else, it wasn't me.
I want to point one quick thing out. I'm looking at the upload logs, and Jesse uploaded his copy first.
Okay, I made a mistake because I downloaded
You
my
sure
music.
fucking did.
I downloaded my music like Saturday night, and I thought I uploaded it that night, but apparently I didn't.
Tisk, tisk.
I mean, I have my game set in Scorekeeper. Does Jesse?
That
Jesse never sets his game in scorekeeper, David. That cannot be held against him. He never has once said it.
I don't even know what Scorekeeper does. I thought that was the god that the Trandoshans like worshipped.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, you guys talk about Link's Awakening DX, and I'm going to hop in Discord and pull an extra fan request.
So yeah, this is Link's Awakening DX.
I don't know why I have to
And-
Jesse.
This was a remake for Link's Awakening for the Game Boy Color. And
It was what?
well, see, here's the thing. I thought about using this game. I was like, oh, I can't. We've used it. And then I looked up, we've used Link's Awakening and Link's Awakening on Switch. So now we have used all three versions of Link's Awakening. And I knew they added the color dungeon because it was on Game Boy Color. And obviously the game's in full color now. And I was looking through, I was like, what other changes were there? Did they just add a dungeon? And they didn't. This game was compatible with the Game Boy printer, and they added a whole side quest where you're going around the island looking for spots and like taking pictures of Link that you could then print out with the Game Boy Color. And I was reading, or the Game Boy printer, and I was reading that. I was like, motherfucker, I thought that was in the base game. I didn't realize that was a DX edition.
Oh yeah, Game Boy Printer came out fairly late in the Game Boy lifespan. I can't remember if Game Boy Printer came out before or after Game Boy Sewing Machine, but Link's Awakening DX came out early enough in the Game Boy lifespan. I'm pretty sure it predated all those accessories. The original Link's Awakening, I know it did not work with the Game Boy Fish Finder. It did not work with the Game Boy modem. It did not work with the Game Boy Jaguar Sewing Machine. And these are all real accessories that I'm naming, by the way. The Game Boy went accessory crazy.
But yeah, I think I've mentioned it before on the show. I love Link's Awakening. It's like a top 5 Zelda game for me. And I think I prefer Link's Awakening DX, not just because of the extra dungeon, because it's completely optional. But there's a change to the ending, which I think Link's Awakening DX does it better. And I don't know if I want to spoil stuff for a game that was released in 98.
Yeah, usually I'd say no, but this did just come out on the Switch, right? On the
man.
Switch Online.
David, we keep
so
playing this fresh.
we might have some new fresh players that are like about to play this game for their first time.
Yeah,
Just
one of
'cause
our
it's-
three listeners- one of our 3 listeners might have not played this.
Yeah, there's a change in the ending, or at least the true secret ending, which I think works better in the DX version. Because this is a Game Boy game that actually has a really compelling, touching story, which you would not expect.
No, I've always heard that this is one of the best Zelda games of all time. Like
Yeah, I
It is.
think
It's
there's
so good.
They would probably expect the story because they played the original, but in the case of maybe not playing the original, then yeah, maybe the story would be somewhat unexpected.
Yeah. I don't, because like when I was growing up, I went from Legend of Zelda on the original NES, where like I don't know what the fuck the story of that game is. Like I know it's there in the manual, but as you play the game, you're like I really don't know what's going on.
Story's not terribly important. Just get to business. Go
Yeah,
find
get to the
things.
dungeons, kill the dude, you're done, whatever.
I mean, the story in the original Zelda is like, you're a dude in the woods. Here's a sword. Go.
and then you had Legend of Zelda on the Super Nintendo, which definitely does a better job of presenting a story. And this obviously came out after Super Nintendo Zelda, right?
Yes.
This uses very similar graphics to the Super Nintendo one. And yeah, back
I
then,
mean, not very similar. It is on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not really similar.
yeah. Well, but it's definitely an upgrade. It's like better than the original, sprites from the first one.
Yeah.
Very much.
Like Game Boy games, I feel like were not that big on the story. Like, what was the story of Super Mario Land 2? Oh, you're getting your castle back from Mario. Oh, apparently Mario has a castle. I guess I didn't know that.
Wario stole your castle, man. I just played the game. I know the story.
Yeah. What was the story of Super Mario Land 1? Rescue a princess, right? This is one of the first Game Boy games I ever played where like, oh, there's a story. Like, oh, you gotta talk to things. Oh my god!
Not even a story. There's kind of a twist, and there's like characterization, which, yeah, you're right. You don't really expect on the Game Boy.
Yeah, because growing up for me, Game Boy was two things. It was like Tetris and Kirby, and then Zelda came out, and it really just blew the doors off everything. Like, oh shit.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about Link's Awakening Vanilla. Is it's a full complete Zelda package, but on the Game Boy, which you wouldn't think they would be able to do. And then Link's Awakening DX was probably the first time that I can remember of a game. Like, it's not the first time it ever happened, just the first time that I remember that a game was remade. Because, like, you had Super Mario All-Stars that combined 3 games into one. Like, okay, that's really cool. And
4 games into one.
Originally, you're right. And, like, obviously they upped the graphics because of Super Nintendo. But, like, this was a straight remake of a game with additions. It wasn't just like a re-release. Yeah, and I remember that being like, wait a minute, that's really cool. And like I said, I thought they added the color dungeon and that was it. And then going back through and actually researching it, it's like, oh no, this game actually features a lot of changes. Most of them for the better. Like, I love the original Link's Awakening. I have not played the Switch one yet, which is weird. But
I didn't care.
I think Link's Awakening DX is like the way to do it.
I think that's probably true. Close enough to the original experience, with a little bit more color. Good enough. Somehow playing Link's Awakening on the Switch was underwhelming.
Do you guys consider the Game Boy Color to be a upgraded Game Boy, or do you consider it to be like its own console that came out between Game Boy and Game Boy Advance? Because
yes.
Because it had some exclusive games to it, but a lot of them were backwards compatible. Was this?
Oh yeah.
Was this one backwards compatible to the original Game Boy? Or could you only play it on the Game Boy Color?
So, you can play it on the original Game Boy, but there are features that are disabled. Presumably the color dungeon.
Yeah, or the whole puzzle is based on colors. Yes.
You can play this on an original Game Boy. I think it might just add like the photo side quest. I'm not sure. I've not attempted to play Link's Awakening DX on an original Game Boy. And also what I think is cool is they were supposed to make a lot of these. Like the DX brand was going to be a brand because there was, I think, Super Mario Brothers DX for the Game Boy Color. And I remember reading that they were supposed to release Metroid 2 DX, like a color version of Metroid 2, but they canceled it while they were in development.
Yeah, the Game Boy. I'm sorry. The Game Boy Color, like I would have liked for them to go back and remake more games in a DX style, right? Like I wish they went back and remade Super Mario Land, Super Mario Land 2 with a DX mode, because those are games that had some pretty good graphics and really could have, I think, popped a bit more with a little bit of color thrown in. Besides what I know some of those games had the Super Game Boy enhancements and the Game Boy Color would respect those, or I also know there's some games that had like a hard-coded new color palette built in. Like Metroid 2 came out well before Super Game Boy and all that shit. It had no enhancements, but later things like Super Game Boy and Game Boy Color were actually hard-coded to detect it was Metroid 2 and apply the right colors,
Right.
But still, you can only apply like 4, because that's all that game supported. And yeah, I feel like there's a missed opportunity to make a bit of cash and just re-release a bunch of games with color added.
And I feel like was it New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe? Like, was that the title of the Switch version? Like, at some point, Nintendo brought the deluxe title back, and I thought, like, oh, that's cute. Like, I appreciate you referencing that particular phase in your history. Because, yeah, like I said, Link's Awakening is amazing, and Link's Awakening DX in particular is really fucking good.
Mm-hmm. And yeah,
John, have you finished queuing up a bonus game?
Oh yeah, I'm way ahead of you, buddy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was trying to find it because I missed it, and I see it now, and I've got it downloading, and we're getting it queued up as we speak.
You say, my part's done. Johnny's got to act all nonchalant and get the music loaded up.
Yeah.
Jesse, since you also chose this game, do you have thoughts on Link's Awakening DX?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I bought it when Noelle was going to give birth to Betsy, and I played it in the hospital.
Oh, dope.
That's about it.
Have you played it this week since it came back out on Switch?
No, but I looked at it and was like, "Oh, I'll pick that for a game that tune." And, that worked
Sorry,
out real
Jesse.
well. No, it's all good.
It's okay. Since David stole your game, I've added a game for you now that will steal one of David's future picks. So, all's well that ends well. And Johnny, I don't know if you're done loading up the new game or whatever, but I'm just so glad that in all that shit talking, it wasn't me that copied somebody else on this one. Because boy, oh boy, I wasn't actually worried once I chose my game, but somehow I was psyching myself out in the lead up to the show, and then you guys, wow, picked the exact same game.
I thought everybody was going to do the same thing that I did. I'll pick Link's Awakening DX. Nah, we've clearly used that before and not actually checked to see if we've used it before.
Oh, no, David, that's why the list of games to see if we've used things before exists, so you can reference it. Yeah. But yeah, good job on you on picking the newest thing that was just given to you for free. Well played. Good job, David. Clearly a fountain of fantastic ideas for the show. That will never run dry.
All right, I got the new music loaded up here.
Wet King David is what we're going to call him. David always soaking.
David the Mormon. David the Mormon. Soaking.
Yes. Johnny, anytime.
Game 4.
Shit, wait, that's the old one. Hold
That's still
on. Yeah, hold on, I got it.
Game 4.
How many people picked this game?
Yeah, I had a great new idea.
4.
Link's Awakening.
All right. Let's see. Among many changes to this game, Toad Town Square was renamed Peach's Castle. All right, let's see some answers and whatnot. Oh. Okay, so we got David says Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr.'s Journey. That's incorrect. John says Super Mario RPG DX, which is incorrect. And strange since he's the one who told me what this game was. And Johnny picks the correct answer, which is even more baffling. Mario plus Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions.
I figured it was either Inside Story or Superstar Saga. Even though Link's Awakening DX was just released on Nintendo Switch Online and Superstar Saga is on Nintendo Switch Online, I thought you weren't going to go with that one.
So here's what I'm going with. Since we just had to scramble to cover this. I downloaded a bunch of Yoko Shimomura soundtracks, and they're all delightful. So thankfully, I had this one in the can, ready to be added as Jesse's replacement game. Man,
she's good.
I'm glad I downloaded multiple soundtracks this week. Didn't prep for this one though either. Never played the Mario and Luigi games. I'm not not big on the Mario RPGs, even though they're adorable and they seem very fun.
I'm excited about this one because I remember playing it at launch, and then I guess played other games and I kind of fell off of it. But every time I played one of these games, it's delightful. The writing is always top notch and funny. In the battle system with the pressing, your timing, your attacks and stuff is real neat. They're just really solid Nintendo games, and it's kind of sad that the studio that made these games was kind of shuttered.
Oh,
I was going to say, pour one out for Alpha Dream, man.
Oh, I had no idea.
But this game, or the original, is now available on Nintendo Switch Online, as David says, on the new Game Boy Advanced emulation thingy they do.
Oh, neat.
And does it get recommend this one up? Both of you guys that have actually played it?
Yeah, it's a high recommend for me.
I have played all 5 Mario and Luigi games except for Partners in Time, which was the second one on DS. And I would say of the 5, it's debatable if Superstar Saga or Bowser's Inside Story is the best one. I highly recommend Superstar Saga. It's a really good game.
Sweet. Oh, yeah. Now that it's just sitting there in my Switch, I'm totally gonna grab it and play it. That sounds good.
Like, you kind of have to, or like Chris Pratt and Charlie Day are gonna come beat your ass. I think that's what they said.
If you don't play it, they will. That's how they got the jobs in
with
the
your
movie.
brains,
yeah,
splattered all over the controller.
Mm-hmm.
How dark is this movie going to be, guys? Jesus Christ.
The Game Boy Advance like a blackjack and just splatter your brains all over the sidewalk.
You're going to be hooked on the plumbers, if you know what I mean.
I can't wait for this fucking movie.
One thing that I love about this game, Jesse was talking about the battle system, and it does have the Mario RPG. If you time your button presses, you do extra damage, but it's also cool because each brother is assigned a button. So Mario is exclusively A, Luigi is exclusively B. So in battles, if an enemy comes charging at Luigi, you push B to jump and dodge out of the way. And it was just, I don't know, there was just, it's very, very simple and it's very subtle, but there's something about that designation of you have 2 characters at all times, 1 per button. It just clicks with you.
Yeah, it's real cool because, some games, when you first start playing them, if they have the active battles like that, you're like, oh, do I press the A button? Do I press the B button? What am I supposed to press for the defend? Is it different than attack? But like with this one, it's just Mario is this one button all the time. Luigi is this button all the time.
I think it's a really good idea. Like, yeah, it's funny you say like, each brother's assigned a button. I'm like, so there's only 2 buttons, right? I forgot that's what the Game Boy Advance has. Like, is there another brother that takes up X and Y? No, it's Game Boy Advance only had 2 buttons.
I also like this game. Again, like Jesse said, like it's got really sharp, clever writing. It's a really funny game. And they also pull some deep cuts. Because you explore a neighboring kingdom to the Mushroom Kingdom. You go to the Bean Kingdom. And there is a section... There is a section that's like a scientific research like university. And there's a part in there where you see like they're studying question blocks, and there's like one from Mario 1, one from Mario World, like different versions of the question blocks. And one of the enemies in the university is the viruses from Dr. Mario. And every time you hit them, they change color. And if you get it so all of them are the same color, they instantly die.
Yes.
Wow. Do you cure a disease in the Bean Kingdom?
Yes.
Good. Man, see, I didn't know any of this. And now that you say that, David, I'm thinking about playing this game. You tell me there's a Bean Kingdom. I'm thinking about that kingdom. Fucking.
It's a really good game. The whole plot of the game is this evil witch, Cacletta, wants to conquer the Mushroom Kingdom. And the way that she does it is she steals Princess Peach's voice because that will awaken like this ancient relic that will grant wishes and blah, blah. But she replaces Princess Peach's voice with obscenity. So like every time she speaks, there's a bunch of like strange symbols that fall and explode all around her. So she literally has F-bombs.
Oh, that's cute. And obviously, so it's just gibberish. You never understand what she's saying, or do the characters react to her as though she's like hurling terrible obscenities at them?
No, like the speech bubble comes up with a bunch of strange symbols, and then they fall down and explode.
Right. But like the characters don't react as though she's saying like, fuck me, Mario, fuck me in the ass. Like,
can we please get that on the soundboard?
Yeah.
That's how Peach
New
sounds.
stinger.
Yeah. Gonna make that radio not safe for work again, baby.
It's interesting because the game does have voice acting, and I love it because they kind of just told Charles Martinet to go. Because like Mario and Luigi will talk to each other, but it's just like bizarre pseudo-Italian gibberish. Like they'll get to like a section like, oh no, like both characters bounce up like, how are we gonna cross this gap? And they turn to each other and there's animations of them like talking, waving their hands. It's like, equiliante, caravalcante, like it's so adorable.
Is it more or less offensive than the Family Guy segment where he puts the mustache on to go to the Italian deli?
Less offensive.
Okay, good. It's not just a boobity I guess Martinet is more of a fucking skilled voice actor than Seth MacFarlane. So, I should give Martinet a little bit of credit. He can at least be more creative in his, I don't know, hilarious Italian gibberish. Good for him. Man, Charles Martinet, I was thinking there's this movie that's coming out soon that I think he would be perfect for. I don't know, maybe you've heard of this movie, Super Mario Brothers movie.
Ant-Man Quantumania?
Oh yeah, I was thinking Charles Martinet would make a great Kang.
that movie where what's his name? Adam Driver is shooting dinosaurs with laser guns.
Yes,
I want to see that so bad.
That looks cool.
Yeah, and Charles Martinet plays all the dinosaurs. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, why are you shooting me?
That's one thing that
I'm sold.
I'm if you'll all indulge
you're
me.
crazy future man. Why are you shooting me with the lasers?
I'm going to get my soapbox for a moment because I've seen a lot of people tweet about the Mario movie and how it's bullshit.
Nobody's been talking about it, David.
And how it's bullshit that Chris Pratt is Mario and it should be Charles Martinet and like voice actor rights and all that. And I agree, and that's fine and that's wonderful. However, nobody is saying like it's bullshit that Charlie Day is Luigi instead of Charles Martinet, or it's bullshit that Anya Taylor-Joy is Peach instead of Jen Taylor. And I just wonder how much of it is like people wanting to stand up for voice actor rights, and how much of it is people just wanting to shit on Chris Pratt.
Oh, a lot of it's Pratt backlash for sure.
And I mean, like, by all means, shit on Chris Pratt. Like, I don't give a fuck about Chris Pratt. Like, yeah, fuck that guy. But it's just like, be honest about what you're doing here.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is also though like Chris Pratt is just not a good choice. Like even with that, if you took all the fuck Chris Pratt shit out of it, like he just was never a good choice from the get go. Like what?
You can tell from the sound of his voice, he's not a good choice to play Mario.
No, he sounds in all the trailers. He just sounds like Linda Belcher from Bob's Burgers. Like he does
exactly.
not like.
And the problem is that this isn't a role that's been open to any real interpretation because Charles Martinet's been the voice forever in every instance except for the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and like the Mario like card game or whatever on the fucking PC. Like it's always been Martinet. Like he, so for someone else to be given the role and for it to be as lackluster and fucking underwhelming as Chris Pratt, it's just like, oh wow, that's a real choice right there.
Yeah.
Like,
I do think it's funny.
Anybody vaguely Italian American, like the cast of The Sopranos is right here, and some of them are still alive. Pick one of them. Like,
I do think it's funny that like because of the Super Show and the Mario 3 cartoon, and like Charles Martinet, there are like two flavors of Mario: either gruff Brooklyn working class guy, or like super sweet magical guy, and somehow they decided on Chris Pratt. Like, there were two goals and you picked neither?
How about Midwestern everyman?
I would rather just reuse voice clips from the Super Mario Brothers movie, with Bob Hoskins over Chris Pratt. Just resample.
Come and get it, lizard breath.
Just resample those however you can.
Hey, it's me, your Ramadan. You can't have spam. What's that mean? You know what's really crazy though is that I think all this outrage over it is not going to put one dent in people's enthusiasm for going and seeing that movie. I think general audiences are going to eat that Mario movie up, and that movie's going to make a shitload of money. They're going to make sequels.
Are you kidding me? I'm going to eat that movie up. Like,
I mean, I'm going to eat it up on a fucking bootleg site. I'm not going out to the theater for that shit. But
I mean,
like,
the thing about it,
Twitter outrage can be amplified to a degree that does not reflect on the general public in certain things. I don't know if you know this.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jesse.
I was just going to say, Mario has never been the reason, like, you play the Mario games. Like, he's the least interesting character in the Mario games. Everything else about it is why you play. You play it to stomp on the Goombas. You play it to see like Bowser's crazy levels. You play it because of the music. You play it because like Mario is like a tortilla. He's just the vessel for the fun stuff. Like, yeah, he's just the guy. He's the everyman. He's you. Basically,
right, Jesse, at least give it to us that Mario is at least a perfectly fried corn tortilla, a delicious tortilla.
Guys. You didn't go with a pasta. You didn't go with an Italian dish of some type. Like, Mario is a spaghetti. He's a vessel for the sauce. No, you went with the tortilla.
No, Jesse,
the heart wants what the heart wants.
Jesse, I see what you're saying, and I feel like people are going to laugh at this, but hear me out. Mario is like Batman. Like, Batman is the least interesting thing about any story involving Batman. It's about the supporting characters and the villains and all that kind of stuff. Like,
because like you said, we're all gonna go see this. Well, John has made it very clear that he's gonna bootleg it because he's so cool, and like everyone else is gonna go see the movie, not because of Mario. Like even before, if it was Martinet, it still wouldn't be because of Mario. No one's going to be like, holy shit, finally Charles Martinet on the big screen. I cannot fucking wait. They're going to be like, oh cool, I want to see that fucking Jack Black sing and wreck that little penguin planet or whatever. I want to see like some Dry Bones doing some shit. I want to see, Peach with the fucking, what, she have like a battle axe or a pike or something. I want to see what's going on with that.
I want to see
Like-
Donkey Kong laugh with the Seth Rogen laugh.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all
I
I
want to
want.
see that too.
True.
But not.
I mean,
you
yeah,
know,
I'm pretty much I'm there day one, but I'm not there to see Chris Pratt's Mario.
no.
I'm there to see Jack Black's Bowser because that's gonna be fucking amazing.
Yep. He seems like he got the assignment, unlike Chris Pratt. Anyway, this all could have been, like resolved by just having Charles Martinet fucking play the role, or anybody but Chris Pratt play the role, or And I'll go ahead and extend the outrage to Charlie Day. Charlie Day could fuck off too.
No,
since
he's
Dave
great.
wants
Have you
to
have
say
you
fuck
heard that?
Charlie Day.
Have you called that number?
No, not yet.
It's
I haven't called the
great.
comment.
It's really good.
Is it Chris Pratt talking?
No, it's Charlie Day. Luigi.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
It
Can you
seems
pull
like
that
it,
up,
it-
Johnny?
it seems like in all the marketing they're trying very hard to not use Chris Pratt's voice anymore.
Because he
everybody-
doesn't matter. It's Mario.
Ev-
Who the fuck cares? Everyone knows who Mario is. Why do you need to see? Like Mario's behind John. I know what Mario looks like. I don't need to see or hear him for the Mario movie because I know he's going to be in it because it's called Mario. So
Yeah, but
fuck.
I didn't paint Luigi behind me. I painted Mario. I like Mario. Mario's
I
cool.
know, but you know what he looks like.
Right.
We do
But he
have a
should also
tattoo of
sound
Luigi though.
Just saying.
I don't know. This sounds like a discussion for a future movie commentary.
Ooh.
'Cause I allowed Jesse his, this point, but I think Mario's perfectly fine and cool. So
No,
This is
but-
a discussion for our future movie commentary, which is Super Mario Brothers the movie DX.
Mm-hmm. That's what this. I mean, that's really what this movie should be called, isn't it?
Fuck.
God. Yeah,
They fucked up. They fucked
Mhm.
up.
Yeah,
Or actually Super Mario Brothers the movie plus Bowser's Minions.
right. Plus Pratt's lousy voice acting. Anyway, Jesse, fantastic pick. Anything else on this game?
No, that's it.
Great pick.
Game 5.
All right, guys. So this is a remake of 2 Game Boy Advance games that were themselves remakes of a PlayStation 1 game. Guys, those tunes they make me feel good. They put a little spring in my step. I just feel good with those tunes. So who's
You
feeling
said-
great?
I'm sorry, you said this was a remake of a portable version of a PlayStation game?
Yes, this
Okay.
is a remake of some games that came out on Game Boy Advance that were actually remakes of a PlayStation 1 game.
Cool. I got it.
Oh man. Okay, so David says Tekken 3 remastered. Sadly, a thing that doesn't exist, but if it did, I would play the shit out of it, and it would sound great with these tunes. They'd put a little spring in my step. Jesse says Alone in the Dark, Game Boy Color. Sadly incorrect. And Johnny says Friends of Mineral Town. Now, Johnny, that's half the correct answer. This is indeed something, Friends of Mineral Town. But do you know whether this is do you know the name of this series?
Tekken 3. Tekken 3 Friends of Mineral Town.
I want to say it's oh shit, god damn it, now I'm blanking.
Yeah,
The second
it's okay, Johnny.
The second double IPA is fucking me up. I'm gonna say Star Wars.
Yes, it's Star Wars. Johnny, you're correct.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just need to interrupt because I would watch the hell out of Star Wars Friends of Mineral Town.
I mean, Mineral Town sounds like a fucking Star Wars location, quite frankly. Like, you had Cloud City, and here's Mineral Town.
Yeah. No, it's like a mining operation on some outpost planet, Mineral Town.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it would be like a docudrama about like working class people in some like Hoth area
Right.
in Mineral Town.
I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 outside of Mineral Town. All right.
Seriously, I would watch the fuck out of that.
But no, so this is Friends of Mineral Town. More specifically, this is Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town, a remake of the Game Boy Advance title Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. This shit has gotten all convoluted, quite frankly. Jesse, do you happen to know what happened with Harvest Moon? Can you possibly? I know you played some Harvest Moon games back in the day. Do you know the relationship between Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons?
I think somehow the original creator of Harvest Moon,
which in Japan is called Story of Seasons.
Yes. They were part of Natsume?
Yes.
And they, I guess, left or were fired or something. And so they had to make their own game, but it's basically the same game, but they had to use a different title.
Right. I was really trying to research this in the lead up to the show because I was just, captivated by these tunes. Just delightful, Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons tunes. And from what I can tell, Natsume somehow lost not the rights to the name Harvest Moon, but the rights to the actual code and game that made up this game series. And so Natsume is left holding the name Harvest Moon, but not Story of Seasons and not the code to the game. And so they started publishing games under the Harvest Moon series for mobile, and they're not particularly great. They're more like building, just kind of building games as opposed to farming games. And then meanwhile, the guy that actually had the rights started putting out the Story of Seasons games, and they are what we would know as Harvest Moon games. A game in which you take control of a character and do some farming and marry some people and raise a dog.
So
I'm baffled.
They have the legal name Harvest Moon, but not what that name pertains to.
Right.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Harvest Moon is now a new series with a name that American gamers might recognize, but the Story of Seasons is the actual game with the Japanese name. If that makes any sense.
It does. It's crazy that they sold the rights to part but not the other part kind of thing.
Right, it's crazy that somehow a company could lose the code and not the name. It's fascinating, quite frankly. I don't know that I'm getting it completely right, but
I mean,
it led to this. So on the Game Boy Advance there was Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town, and a lot of people consider it to be the best in the series. And then they released, that was released in 2003, April of 2003, coming up on Game That Tune Gems, little Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town. And then later in that year, they released Harvest Moon More Friends of Mineral Town, which is, and I didn't realize this was a first for the series. More Friends of Mineral Town. David or Johnny, you want to guess what the difference is between the original Friends and More Friends?
There's less friends to make.
Shockingly.
I was going to say there are more friends.
Yeah, no friends whatsoever. No, More Friends of Mineral Town is you can play as a girl and romance the men. Whereas the original Friends of Mineral Town is as is tradition for Harvest Moon, you're playing as the man and romancing the women.
I mean, that would give you more friends, so.
It would.
I get it.
Yes. Yeah, and then later on, there's Poly Friends of Mineral Town. That's what Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town is. You can do it all. But yeah, so they released Friends of Mineral Town, where he plays the guy, and More Friends, where he plays the girl, and then lost the rights to the underlying game. And so now Story of Seasons comes out on Switch and other systems, and it's a remake of the game. And it's both things combined. So you can choose between male and female characters and choose who you romance. And it's essentially just a nice remake of this game, this farm sim slash, I don't know, country life romance simulator. And it seems charming as shit. I feel like I don't know if I need to play this. I'd like to, but I put a good amount of time into Stardew Valley, and I feel like the guys that made Stardew Valley made that under the understanding that maybe there weren't going to be any more traditional Harvest Moon / Story Seasons games coming. And so then for one to come out as a remake after, it's like, you're going to have to really show me something if you want to surpass Stardew Valley, because they kind of nailed it. I kind of feel like Stardew Valley is the best version of any of this. But, maybe I'm wrong. But I'd like to... frankly, I'm captivated by the soundtrack and feel like picking this up now that I know how strange and convoluted this has all gotten. It's like, yeah, I could do some more farming and some more romancing, and also a dog. I guess I don't want to say I could do a dog. I could raise
phrasing.
I could own a video game dog and romance a man or a woman in this town, mineral town. And I feel like it's charming, and I never put much time into the original Harvest Moon games, but I put a lot of time into fucking Stardew Valley. So I feel like maybe this would be a good time or a good game to jump into this and see kind of where it came from. I don't know. I don't know. Jesse, you're my Harvest Moon guy. I was kind of hoping for you, having played this. I know you're Game Boy Advance guy. You're a Harvest Moon guy.
I played
but you're staying suspiciously quiet about Friends of Mineral Town.
I played Harvest Moon on the Game Boy.
That's it?
Yep.
Shit.
I actually did play Super Nintendo Harvest Moon.
Oh, good.
It was pretty fun. I enjoyed the farming. I enjoyed busting up stumps. I enjoyed that whole aspect of you can try to work late in the night if you want, but it's probably not going to work out. You should really just go to sleep.
Yeah.
At least to me now.
A video game lesson I've never taken to heart in real life. Yeah. No, I'm gonna stay up. Fucking what's that? What's the fucking Chinese phrase for it? Like revenge bedtime procrastination. That's my fucking speed, baby. David, you ever get into any of these? I was thinking about it. Games like this, I feel like you got into Animal Crossing, but did that ever inspire you to get into anything else resembling a sim or like a life sim at all?
Short answer, no.
Yeah.
I was
with a butt.
Well, you were just going over the whole history of the convoluted legal history of Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons, and then in my head I was thinking, it was like, okay, so this would kind of be like if you had Animal Crossing, and then all of a sudden Animal Crossing started to be called Forest Life, but then Nintendo made Animal Crossing and it was like a turn-based strategy game.
Or if Animal Crossing suddenly only became the room designing element from like the DLC of the new Animal Crossing. Yeah. It would be weird.
So I get like the concept, but also I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But to further answer your question, no, I was always aware of Harvest Moon, but it never quite did anything for me. Like, oh, you're just a guy and you're like talking to ladies and you have a farm. Like, I'm not really interested in that. Suddenly you're a guy and you're like growing some crops but talking to animals. Now I'm there.
I was going to say, yeah, something would have jumped out at you at some point. Yeah, I just remember, back in the day, like seeing Harvest Moon and just, you're looking through like Blockbuster shelves and you're looking at all these Nintendo 64 games, and it's like, you got GoldenEye, and then you got F-Zero X, you got GoldenEye, and then after that it's Harvest Moon. It's like, now, hold on, that seems different than everything else. This looks less action packed and a lot more cartoony than the other games. And I, never got the chance to give it a try on Nintendo 64, but it always captivated me. And, just the idea of playing something like this, it intrigued me until I finally got to really put some effort into it with Stardew Valley. It turns out I like it a lot, and so I'm glad for games like this that exist. I'm just I'm sorry for the the American whatever the confusion, the naming thing, because like I feel like they're just trying to trick people now into buying Harvest Moon games, and I bet you the guys whoever it is that owns the rights to Story of Seasons nowadays, I bet you they're having a real hard time trying to get guys like me to be like, okay, what do we have here? Like, you got Harvest Moon and Story of Seasons, and they're the same game. No, they're wildly different. But one of them is the game that you think you remember from your childhood. I don't know, man. Somebody draw me a fucking map, because you know what I want. I want to fucking grow some crops. I want to talk to some ladies. I want to talk to some animals, and I want some fucking charming music. That's it. Like, so whichever game series gives me that at this point, I'm all in. But yeah, it's a fun game. I would consider playing this. I feel like this is the kind of game that maybe I could download and really get my wife into, because she also really likes Stardew Valley. She loves Animal Crossing. Yeah, and I remember I bought at some point, like on clearance or on discount, I bought like a Harvest Moon for the Wii, and it did nothing for either of us. So I'm hoping maybe they've gotten it back to the point where it's like a fun playable game. I'm wondering if that game was actually a Story of Seasons game or a Harvest Moon game, if it came out in some time where they lost the rights or what. But I remember buying a game for the Wii and being like, wow, this is not what I'm looking for from this series whatsoever. So I don't know.
I remember a lot of games on the Wii being like that.
Yeah, maybe it was just the Wii. maybe there wasn't even series confusion at that point. Maybe it was just system confusion. But yeah, it's a fun series, and I would like to see it continue and also clarify itself for guys like me. I think at this point, the takeaway for me is don't get Harvest Moon games that are new, because they're something that you're not expecting. Story of Seasons games are what you think you wanted when you were first paying attention to the series. So I'll be keeping my eye out on the Story of Seasons, because it's a fun little series, and it's one that I've just completely underexplored. But I was captivated by the music. Again, I'm crediting this as my pick, but this is also kind of a half bonus fan request, because really, after I chose the theme for this episode, I don't know, got flooded with fan requests. There were like fucking a lot of them. I appreciate our enthusiastic fans who requested like 50 things apiece, but you gave me a lot of stuff to think about for the fan requests, and then I realized like I should probably just pick one of these and give somebody a little bonus credit, because I didn't really have I picked Remakes because it's an easy theme. I didn't pick it because I had anything in the chamber. So it's a fun little fan request, half fan request. It's from Silver Nova in the Discord, but it's also from me. So thank you, Silver Nova, for reminding me of this game and this delightful soundtrack. And Johnny, let's go to the calculating computer.
Calculating computer activated. Computers, beeps,
Oh, sorry, I was checking up on the chat. What was that?
boops. Scoring complete. This game's winner is John Regan.
What?
Check the scores. I have 3 points, if I'm not mistaken,
I mean, that's usually how winning works.
because you gave me the point for Friends of Mineral Town, and I got the point for David with Link's Awakening, and
You don't have to recap it, Johnny. I know what happened.
We can count.
I'm baffled that you scored the most points. It's not that I know what you scored on. I'm surprised.
it happens.
I
to
mean,
friends.
I'm not really surprised, because the theme was like games we've already covered in a way, and like, what is Johnny if not, hey, I know this game.
Yes, I mean the softest of balls.
Belongs to John Regan.
Yeah, and I guess I could have won this game myself if I had fucking answered the game I provided for Jesse's thing. Yeah, this whole episode's gotten as convoluted as the Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons. You know, Jesus Christ, it's the story of GT Seasons is what this episode has become. I don't understand what we're doing here anymore. I don't know who provided the games or who won the game, but apparently Johnny has won the game. So
I mean, in a lot of ways, it's my fault, but I'm the king, so it can't possibly be my fault.
It's
Right.
the tuna Illuminati.
yeah, the tuna lami. So Johnny, you won the show. And you get to pick the theme for the next episode.
Well, let's see. So this week's theme was like remakes, remasters. So I was thinking demakes. I was thinking and it doesn't have to specifically be a demake of a specific game. I'm going to open up a little bit and be like, you know, games that the original came out on the better console and then something came out on a shittier console. So, for example, I would count the Mega Man Game Boy games as demakes as the original Mega Man games on Nintendo. You know, like, I'm going to give it a little bit of flexibility, but it has to be a kind of shittier version of the original.
Johnny, this is going to be
Ports.
all Game Boy games. I don't know.
Well, in
Like-
Game Gear. Yeah, like,
Yep. I know where this is going. Like, there's only there's so few systems that this could possibly apply to.
So, basically, shitty ports.
yeah, or like, so, you know, I'm trying to think of consoles that are at the same time. It's like GameCube and Game Boy Advance are around at the same time, right? So I'm sure there's some Game Boy Advance games that had the better version on GameCube, right? They don't
You'd like
necessarily.
to think that, wouldn't you?
I've heard that the Tony Hawk on Game Boy Advance is like legit good.
Yeah.
And they all have interesting soundtracks because they can't use licensed music.
I mean, they can use licensed music, but it's licensed music on the Game Boy Advance, and we saw how American Idol turned out.
Well
Say it.
observed, Dave.
You've got the era of Super Nintendo and Nintendo games on Game Boy. You got the era of, you know, the Nintendo 64 games that had Game Boy Color versions. You got the GameCube that had the Game Boy Advance versions. You had the Sega Genesis and anything on Sega Game Gear versions. Yeah. Oh, and the Dreamcast compared to the Neo Geo Pocket Color, because those are unofficial.
Oh, yes.
Well, you said it, Johnny. The die is cast. Here we are.
Is there a second theme or?
Yeah, I was gonna say, a bonus theme.
Games
really...
with a main character.
Nope. Yeah, either demakes or games that never got remakes.
D-makes or games with a cactus. How about that?
Fair play. Fair play.
Like, if there's a cactus, fair game.
Are we doing that? Are we calling
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, that's what I'm doing, man. D-makes or games with a cactus.
It's quick and to the point.
He's right.
You son of a bitch.
Okay. Cool. So we're in. Demakes or games featuring a cactus. Fantastic, Johnny. What a theme.
John,
What a
I am
setting
so
for games.
I am so sorry about the last 45 seconds of my audio.
It's okay, David. It's okay. Yeah. Sorry for the last several minutes of Johnny's where he fucking chooses these themes, but okay. Man, what a fucking show that's gonna be. I can't wait to see what the balance is between D-makes and cactus when the requests start coming in. Goody. Johnny, you've earned the right to do the outro to the show.
So I've queued up. I've just downloaded the entire Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo PC soundtrack. So I'm sort of debating between the Ryu or Vega stages as my bonus tunes. Do you guys, what would you prefer to hear? Let's take a quick vote between Ryu or Vega.
I vote Ryu.
Yeah,
Vega.
Vega. John, deciding vote.
I vote that you do the rest of the outro before you choose this.
Oh god, I can't do the whole outro. I don't know off the top of my head. Let's see. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. You can check out our podcast. It comes out on Tuesdays on GameThatTune.com or wherever you get your podcasts. You should also check out patreon.com/GameThatTune to help us keep the lights on at things like Game That Tune Radio, gtt.rocks, or radio.gamethattune.com. It helps us keep the lights on, and if you give us enough money, we'll kind of add whatever soundtracks you want to Game That Tune Radio, and that's a lot of fun. People enjoy doing that. I don't have the list offhand of our whatever our we call them out by name, tier is. I can't remember.
Johnny, I know what you're trying to say, and I believe what you're trying to say is you want to give a special thank to our absurd fan tier Patreon producers. Those would be Lance Revere, Damian Beckles, Bradford Stevens, Daniel Perky, Taylor Wise, Sam L. Grimmery, Phoenix Tier 2121, and Beast Pond.
That's exactly right.
Yes, a fantastic group of people, fantastic pile, if you will, and I want to encourage people to tune in to twitch.tv/GameThatTune, youtube.com/GameThatTune, facebook.com/GameThatTune. We record every week at 9 p.m. The day of the week, not relevant, every week at 9 p.m.
We have a good time. We record every week. You should check it out. Bye. Man. And we definitely do a good job of listening back to things before we fucking add them to the radio.
And I think that's all the points of the outro, no? Or am I missing something?
I want to give a shout out to the requester. Thank you, Rainus at GTT Radio for making the request. Rainus unusually made his request straight into the radio chat, which is not the suggested way to make fucking requests, but I happen to be there. If you catch me in the radio chat and get me to say in writing that I've written down what your request is, then yeah, sure, go with the radio chat. Otherwise, make your requests via Discord. Look for the link in the show notes, or at GameThatTune.club, our fantastic social media site, where we always take your requests and sometimes honor them. We do not automatically honor any requests that are received at GameThatTune.club, but we do look at them.
So yeah, with that, as far as the bonus tunes go, John, you still have the deciding vote between Ryu or Vega.
Those are my only two choices.
No, or if you want to throw in another name in the hat, we can do Honda, we can do Blanca, Chun-Li, whoever you want.
I mean, there's one vote for Ryu, one vote for Vega, so you can vote for somebody else, and it'll just be like...
It'll just be
triple bonus, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You see, my vote was going to be M. Bison.
All right, done and done. So we got 3 bonus tunes ending the show tonight. We got Ryu, we got Vega, we got M. Bison. This will be quick. They're only about a minute each. From Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for the PC. Peace out, everybody.
Game
recording now.
Over!
first time that you listened to Game Neptune Radio was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Oh man, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is copyright 1995 Capcom Company Limited. Front Mission is copyright 2022 Forever Entertainment. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX is copyright 1998 Nintendo of America Incorporated. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions is copyright 2017 Nintendo of America Incorporated. Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town is copyright 2020 Marvelous Incorporated and X-Seed Games.